What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today in this video, I'm going to be giving you my first impressions of living in Cali, Colombia as an expat, as a nomad, and just basically an honest review of my experiences living in Cali, Colombia. I've spent majority of 2024 living in Cali, Colombia. I've spent about 14 days short of 6 months living in Cali. You only get 6 months per calendar year to live in Colombia as a tourist on a tourist visa. With the exception of visiting a couple other cities in Colombia for a couple days, I spent majority of that 6 months living in Cali, Colombia. And if you're interested in visiting Cali, Colombia, interested in living in Cali, Colombia, just want to know more about the city, this is the video for you. Before we start the video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you got something to say, drop it in the comments below, and definitely subscribe if you want to see more videos like these. I drop a lot of travel gems in my videos, so if you want to see more, if you want to hear more, you got to subscribe. So I'm going to start with the first thing, the most controversial thing about Cali, Colombia, which is the safety aspect. I think that for some reason, I'm not sure why, but Cali, Colombia has this reputation or aura, at least regarding foreigners and native Colombians as well. I've heard this from Colombians in different parts of the country. Maybe some things have occurred in the past, but people think Cali, Colombia is just not safe. Like it's much less safe than Medellin, than Bogota, than other parts of Colombia. Less secure. I've heard that people think you need to watch your back more in Cali, Colombia. People just think Cali, Colombia is not safe. Yeah, foreigners for sure, not all of them, but they definitely think Cali is less safe than Medellin. And I know of a lot of people that just avoid Cali for that reason. They've never been there and they want to avoid any issues, so they just stick to Medellin, Bogota, and other parts of Colombia. And you'll see when you actually get to Cali, Colombia, that for one, it is safe. And for two, you don't see a lot of foreigners in Cali, Colombia like you would in Medellin or other parts of Colombia. I think as well, when you hear about a part of a country that you hear is less traveled to, and you're not sure what the reason why is, you just automatically think it's because it's unsafe. And you also become hesitant to go there yourself because it just seems less traveled with other foreigners. I kind of felt the same way a little when I initially got to Cali, but as I've lived there for multiple months, I see that Cali, Colombia is safe. Cali, Colombia is safe. I'll be the first one to tell you that if no one has ever said it or if you've never heard it before. I think it has the same level of insecurity or security as Medellin or Bogota. You have to take the same precautions as you would in the other cities in Colombia. And it's definitely neighborhoods and parts of the city to avoid, just like it is in other cities of Colombia. This is Cali, Colombia. Better than Medellin, of course. Just joking, just joking. But yeah, this is Cali. Initially, when I first got to Cali, I was told that the east side of the city has more of the unsafe parts of Cali. You got the west side of the city and you got the east side of the city. And there's a road, as you see, that kind of splits the city in half. At least that's just how it looks to me. When you get towards this area right here, it has some more questionable neighborhoods. And when you get further east, that's when it becomes more questionable. And the areas and the infrastructure of the city tend to look kind of underdeveloped. But I've been to a few different neighborhoods on this side of the city, and I felt fine in the neighborhoods. All I felt that I needed to do was just keep a low profile, and I was good. These areas definitely would not be my first choice of places to live or visit because there's no touristic areas in these neighborhoods. And then towards the bottom half of the city, haven't really explored too much, but it has the same paradigm. But I think most of Cali, Colombia has safe, normal neighborhoods. Like you're not in danger in majority of parts of Cali. The western side of the city, neighborhoods like Granada, San Antonio, Miraflores, those are the top neighborhoods of the city. Oh, La Flora as well. Those are like the nice parts of the city. Valle de Lili, which is in the southern part of the city. I don't go there that much because it's super far. Ciudad Jardín is another good neighborhood, good area. I'm sure there's more neighborhoods as well, but Cali, Colombia is safe. Just make sure you know where you're staying at. Get some information on the neighborhood that you're staying in, and you're good. Another aspect that contributes to the vibe of unsafetiness in Cali, Colombia is the infrastructure of the city. Cali, Colombia is not as developed structurally as Medellin or as Bogota. So you'll come across a lot of buildings that have graffiti on it, look kind of run down. I'm trying to say this in a nice way, of course, not to make the city seem bad, but the city is kind of ugly. There's a lot of parts of Cali that are just somewhat run down looking, and that's pretty common throughout the city. More common in questionable neighborhoods. So your first impression when coming to Cali might be like, hey, this city is kind of ugly. But that might contribute to your initial thoughts of safety, because when you see a lot of rundown graffiti buildings, you might think you're in a bad neighborhood, and you may be in a bad neighborhood, but that's just common. The city isn't as built up as other cities. Cali is still nice though. The general ambiance and vibe of Cali is still nice, even though the infrastructure and how the city looks is not nice, or not as nice. Next aspect of Cali Colombia I want to talk about is the people. This actually took me by surprise, because before I went to Cali Colombia, I was living in Medellin for a little while. And if you haven't been to Medellin, people in Medellin are super friendly and helpful and cool. But people in Cali Colombia, the Caleños, the people from Cali Colombia are called Caleños. People from Cali Colombia, they're friendly and helpful, but their demeanor on the surface shows that, at least from my interactions with people, that they're not as friendly as people from Medellin. And I'm giving comparisons, of course, because I've been to a bunch of different places in Colombia, so I can compare and contrast the interactions that I have with people. People in Cali, Colombia, they're friendly, but on the surface, they don't seem friendly. They seem kind of rude. Yeah, the demeanor is just not as upbeat as people from Medellin. Somewhat guarded as well. And just their general mood, at least when it comes to day-to-day interactions, and even in social settings as well, depending on the social setting. They're just not as open, and the demeanor is not as happy, you would say, or as friendly as people from Medellin. But on the flip side of that, as I say, on the surface, for a lot of these things that I've noticed with people from Cali, once you start interacting and talking with people in Cali, the Caleños, they're actually pretty cool. They're pretty friendly, helpful, everything. I've met a few people randomly in my day-to-day, as you can see there in a couple of my YouTube videos, and they were like extremely nice and cool and friendly and all that. And I think due to the history of Cali, people are just more hesitant and a little more guarded due to general unsafetiness as perceived by the city. Disclaimer, this is not all people in Cali. The majority of people in Cali are friendly people. But once you start interacting with people and you break down that initial barrier of hesitancy that some people have in Cali, you'll see that they're just as friendly as people in Medellin or other people in different cities. Even with the reservedness and the somewhat guardedness, they're still like 1,000 times more friendly than people in any of the Western countries that you're from. So yeah, to sum it up, once you break down that initial barrier some people have in Cali due to the whole safety aspect, you'll see that they're cool people. They're friendly, super friendly people. And some people don't even have this sense of guardedness at all. When you talk to people, your first interactions with people from the start, they'll be super friendly. But yeah, just keep that in mind, because when I initially came to Cali, I thought people were just rude and unfriendly and just not helpful. But then when I actually started interacting with people, talking to them, deeper than a surface level, I seen that people are cool. Maybe you've seen more of my YouTube videos, but I like hot climates. I just like the heat. I do not like to be cold at all. I don't want to experience any cold any time of the year if I can help it. And Cali Colombia consistently comes through for me with the heat. Every single day it's hot. But for the most part, if you're visiting Cali for the first time, thinking about checking out Cali, it's going to be hot every day. It's going to be in the 80s, high 70s, maybe in the 90s, depending on what month you're coming to visit the city. I've never experienced a temperature under like 70 degrees in Cali, Colombia. During the day, though, of course. In the nighttime, it could get a little chilly, but it's not like a cold. It's just less hot. And it doesn't rain as much as other cities in Colombia. I lived in Medellin first half of the year a couple years ago, and during that period from January to May, the rain was just so unpredictable. It would rain like every other day. And I know it was the rainy season, the beginning of the year for Medellin, and I just hated it. Like, I didn't know when it was going to rain. The weather forecast never was accurate. And a lot of times when I would plan activities to do outside for the heat with no rain, it would rain, and then I got to go back home and just chill in the house. That was very annoying, but in Cali, Colombia, I don't have to experience that. I didn't have to experience unpredictable rain or just rain consistently throughout the year. And I know, like I said, in Medellin, I was there during the rainy season, but it seems like Medellin rain is much more common than in Cali, Colombia year round. So yeah, the heat is my favorite part. I could walk outside in some basketball shorts and a tank top, a t-shirt every day. And the heat is year round too. Like I said, it's year round. It's amazing. The weather in Cali is great. Another good thing about living in Cali, Colombia is the transportation system. So Cali, Colombia doesn't have a train system, but it does have a bus system. And it's pretty good. I like it. The bus system is called Mio, and it runs from the top of the city all the way down to the bottom of the city. And then if you got to get to neighborhoods on the east and west side of the city, you got to take connection buses, which aren't as efficient. But the main bus route that goes from north to south and even goes towards the east of the city is great. It's efficient, no issues, no problems. And the buses themselves are nice, but they're not super modernized, but they're nice buses. It gets the job done. It takes you where you need to go. People on the buses are usually chill, no issues, no crazy people. And it's cheap too, relatively speaking. It's like 60 cents per ride. Most of the time, if I'm by myself or I'm going somewhere that's not too far, I'll just take the bus instead of taking an Uber. Ubers are cheap as well, but buses are cheaper. You're on your own time, you don't have to deal with an Uber driver. You just take the bus and you're good. Never waited too long for a bus to arrive either. So yeah, it's quick, efficient, and it does the job. Final thing I noticed about living in Cali, Colombia is the food. So Colombian food in general isn't my cup of tea. It's good, but it's not very flavorful. But Cali, Colombia does have a lot of different restaurants, a lot of different cuisines, especially in the tourist neighborhoods. They have a lot of good restaurants. But in terms of the typical local food, it's good. Cali has some really nice, I guess you would call it farmers markets. There's this farmers market called Galeria Alameda. Very nice farmers market. You could find all kinds of produce, vegetables, even meat, fish. It's centrally located too. It's in a good part of the city. Good prices as well, economical. The typical food in Colombia. So Cali, Colombia has a large percentage of people of African descent. Yeah, there's a lot of melanated people in Cali, Colombia, and I think that translates into the variety and taste of the foods they cook at the restaurants. So I think you'll find a little more tasty Colombian food in Cali than you would in Medellin, but it's not that big of a difference, I think. Don't forget to check out the restaurants though. Go to some tourist neighborhoods, check out the restaurants, eat some good food. They got a lot of good restaurants in Cali. At a local Colombian restaurant, you can get a meal for like 15,000 pesos, which translates right now to $3.40. So food, if you eat locally and you don't go to like international restaurants or anything like that, you'll get a good price meal. Usually comes with a drink too and soup. If you luck up and find a good local Colombian restaurant that does the meal with the soup and the drink, they might even give you free refills with the drink. Usually it's a drink called panela or lemonade. They'll just refill it as much as you want. It's a big bonus when eating Colombian food too. They give you a lot of food on the plate and they'll give you free refills. Depending on your taste buds, you may not like the food, but you're gonna be full after you eat the food for sure. And yeah, that's it for the video. Those are my first impressions of living in Cali, Colombia. I stayed in Cali, Colombia for basically 6 months this year. Learned, seen, and experienced a lot. And if you want to get more insight, tips, and information on Colombia and other countries in general, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you want to tell me how you hate Cali's weather because it's too hot, drop a comment below and give me a like to boost this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.